Hello everybody and welcome to the preview show for round 10 of the professional leagues here at the Alternate Reality Football League. Let's have a look at the unbeaten teams that are still going. After 9 rounds, there are still 11 clubs. 1 in the Premier League, Liverpool, who lead the way. 2 in the Championship, Manchester United top and Fulham in 6th. There's 1 in League 1, league leaders Sheffield Wednesday. There's 2 in League 2, who both occupy the top 2 positions, Bournemouth and Poole Town. National League Premier Division leaders Swansea, National League Championship leaders Arsenal, and there are still 3 clubs who occupy the top 3 positions in National League 1. Leaders Oldham, second in the table Bolton, and third in the table Everton. However, there are still 3 winless teams after 9 games. 1 in the National League Championship, that's bottom of the table Forest Green, but 2 in National League 1, Plymouth in 21st, and bottom of the table AFC Fylde. So looking at the fixtures for round 10, here are the Premier League ones. Huddersfield against Altrincham, Ipswich versus Darlington, Millwall versus Wolves, Nuneaton versus Rotherham, Sheffield United versus Tottenham, Shrewsbury versus Burton Albion, Sunderland versus Liverpool, Welling against Middlesbrough, Yeovil versus Leeds, and York against Gainsborough. Now, picking 3 out of those as potential highlights, Sheffield United against Spurs has got to be one of them. That's 5th against 2nd, and obviously Sunderland versus Liverpool, 3rd against 1st. Liverpool defending their unbeaten record. The other one I'll pick out is Welling against Middlesbrough. That is because Middlesbrough, of course, are top of the form chart in the Premier League. For all the form charts, please go onto the website www.altrealfootballleague.com where you can check out all the current standings and all the form charts. Going into the EFL Championship, Halifax versus Exeter, FC United versus Peterborough, Fulham versus Crewe, it's Gosport against AFC Wimbledon, Luton versus Morecambe, Maidenhead against Maidstone, Manchester City against Sutton, Newport Gateshead, Port Vale Hull, Southport against Man United, it's Watford against Dartford, and it's Wycombe against Tamworth. Picking out 3 here, well, the standout tie has got to be Watford against Dartford. That's 4th against 5th. They've both made excellent starts to the season and could be playoff contenders. The other matches that I will mention, Port Vale against Hull, because we've got to mention Hull. They are currently 2nd in the table, but top of the form chart. And obviously, league leaders Manchester United defending their unbeaten record as they go to Southport. In EFL League 1, it will be Telford versus Sheffield Wednesday, Aston Villa against Blackburn, Barrow versus Chelsea, Brighton against Nottingham Forest, Chesterfield versus Brentford, Dagenham versus Bristol Rovers, Ebbsfleet versus Bishop Stortford, Lincoln against Southend, North Ferriby against Mansfield, Portsmouth will take on Stoke, QPR will take on West Ham, and it will be Stalybridge against Coventry. Again, picking out 3 matches, Villa versus Blackburn, that will be 4th against 5th, Stalybridge against Coventry, 7th against 6th. I think the standout tie will be QPR versus West Ham, that's 3rd against 9th, but of course that is a London derby. On to EFL League 2, Alfreton versus Wigan, Bournemouth versus Curzon Ashton, Burnley against St Albans, Charlton to take on Aldershot, it's Poole against Wealdstone, Preston against Stockport, Rochdale take on Truro, Salford against East Thurrock, Stevenage against Doncaster, Swindon against Gillingham, Walsall against MK Dons, and Weston-super-Mare to take on Hartlepool. Picking out 3 from there, Bournemouth against Curzon Ashton, you've got to mention the league leaders, and of course unbeaten Bournemouth. Stevenage against Doncaster should be an interesting one, that's bottom against 18th, but it's a real 6-pointer. And Swindon against Gillingham is another one that could be a bit of a 6-pointer. Neither of them in the relegation zone at the moment, 16th against 19th, but both are really struggling for form. So that one could be an opportunity for one of those teams to move away from trouble. Into the National League now, starting with the Premier Division. It's Boston against Fleetwood, Bradford against Eastleigh, Braintree to take on Worcester, Crystal Palace against Margate, it's Eastbourne against Cardiff, Macclesfield versus Chester, Newcastle against Harrogate, Oxford City take on Northampton, Swansea take on Oxford United, it's Tranmere against Reading, West Brom take on Derby, and Wrexham against Brackley. The standout tie there, I think, is Newcastle against Harrogate. That's 3rd against 7th. Then you've got West Brom against Derby. That's 5th against 6th. So that's another match featuring teams that are both in the current playoff positions. And Eastleigh against Bradford, now on paper doesn't look like that intriguing of a contest. Eastleigh bottom of the table, whereas Bradford relatively safe in 15th. However, Because of the fact that they are both in the bottom 3 of the form chart, this could be an opportunity for Eastleigh to get some much needed points. The National League Championship, it will be Accrington against Gloucester, Barnet against Arsenal, Bath against Solihull, Bristol City to take on Bromley, it's Cambridge against Woking, Dover versus Torquay, Forest Green versus Scunthorpe, Grimsby versus Southampton, Hungerford against Bradford Park Avenue, Kidderminster against Carlisle, and Norwich against Whitehawk. Picking out 3 here, there's not too many matches there where they're quite matched up. Barnet against Arsenal should be decent. It's 8th against the unbeaten league leaders. Kidderminster against Carlisle. Now, they're not too close in the table. Kidderminster 4th against Carlisle in 12th, but they are both on very, very good form. Kidderminster, of course, 2nd in the form chart, so that could be a good one to keep an eye on. And Dover against Torquay is at the opposite end of the scale. It's 21st against 16th, but this is also a possible 6-pointer. Both of them are on very poor form. And then finally, in the National League 1, it will be Barnsley against Colchester, Birmingham against Boreham Wood, Blackpool versus Hemel Hempstead Town, Bolton versus Oldham, Cheltenham versus Guiseley, Chorley versus Hampton and Richmond, Concord Rangers versus Plymouth, Crawley versus Bury, Everton versus Leyton Orient, Leicester versus Chelmsford, and Notts County against AFC Fylde. Well, there's one tie which is obviously the highlight, I would say, not just of this particular division, but I'd say of the entire round 10. Bolton versus Oldham, both unbeaten, both the top 2 in that division, second place first. If Bolton can get a win at home, then they will take over at the top of the table. Everton, the other unbeaten side, they are at home to Leyton Orient, who of course sits 6th, so that's 3rd against 6th. And then lastly, Plymouth against Concord Rangers. Plymouth go to Concord. That's a battle of 18th against 22nd. So Plymouth, this is a potential 6-pointer and a good opportunity for them to get their first win on the board. So those are the fixtures. Those are the form teams. I will be looking to get the results updated onto the website as soon as possible. Please keep checking the site or keep checking here on YouTube when I will upload the video for the Round 10 show. You can also see updates on my Facebook, Twitter and Instagram accounts. Just look for Alternate Reality Football League. Thanks very much once again for watching.